Good evening. Would council members come to order, please? If we'd all stand, we led in prayer by Alderwoman Berto, please.
Almighty God, we ask your blessing upon the members of this council as we assemble here in this chamber to conduct the ongoing business of our city. With your guidance, we will strive to ensure that all of our decisions are for the common good, and your inspiration will instill respect, compassion, and thoughtfulness in all of our deliberations. Give us the strength and the wisdom to lead by example as the people's representatives, and that peace and harmony will mark all of our proceeding and keep us faithful to the trust placed in us by the citizens of your community. Amen.
Amen. Alderman Singh, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizen comment general.
Thank you. At this time, I would declare citizen comment general. It's 30 minutes set aside if the need arises for individuals who wish to speak and address the council on issues not on the agenda, but issues that are important to the city of Norwich and yourself. If you choose to do so, when you approach the microphone, please state your name and address for the public record. And we look forward to hearing from you during your time. There is someone who has signed up, Mr. Sierra Lindsay. Please, the microphone is yours.
Sierra Lindsay, 72 Cedar Street, Norwich, Connecticut. Yeah, I wanted to speak to you guys about, I'm sure you know what happened in the area with one of my son's really good friends. And, I've been trying to do some things on my own, but I just want to come to you guys and ask for a little help with the technology efforts that I'm making in a way to get to these kids where they're at, through some of the online social media and different things that I'm trying to implement. I've been trying to do it on my own. I've been kind of, fighting through it. And I've been going around to some of the communities to see what they got going on, to try to see if I could have something, come together with the Greenville and some of the people that I really see are trying hard to get enough funding together to even try to do anything, So I believe that some of the work that I've already done will help curb some of that and also try to, help meet these kids where they're at. Because right now we're just kind of like, saying what we think it is, and it's really up to them to decide. And I have some ways to get at them, and I just wanted to ask for some help and maybe who I would need to talk to implement some of the things or get some things on the agenda for you guys to consider. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Thank you. May we speak after the meeting, if you stay? Look forward to that. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to the council on non-agenda items at this time? Yes, sir, please.
All right. Good evening. My name is Roswell Wallace. I live at 21 Huntington Place here in Norwich. And the reason that I'm addressing you guys is just because my partner and I, we would like to establish a commercial composting facility in New London County, preferably in Norwich. The biggest challenge that we are going to have is zoning, because it is considered waste management. So we figured it'd be a good idea to come and engage city council members to start the conversation and see if there's any way that we can get support for that. We're establishing it for a number of different reasons. The two biggest reasons being that there is a global soil crisis, and in Connecticut, throughout the U.S., but Connecticut specifically, we also have a trash crisis. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with it, but right now we have to ship a lot of our trash out of state because we don't have the capacity to handle it. So the compost facility will help in a number of ways. One, we can diminish our waste in general, because food scraps account for 22 to about 40% of all the waste that we discard in this state. So we can bring it down significantly there. We'll save on costs, and by putting those nutrients back into the earth, will help to improve the soil quality in and at least in our general area. That's the starting point of a bigger project that we have to work on. The rest of the project involves a community garden, an event space, and living quarters or arrangements. We'd like to have a retreat at some point that kind of addresses mental health and connects people to each other and to the earth, and through the whole cycle of life. That's a long-term goal, but the challenge, aside from just the zoning for the waste management, is the ability to have, and maybe can't be done, but we're hoping that it will be the most cost-effective way for us to acquire one large piece of land, and if we could do it all within close proximity to each other. So essentially, to wrap it up, we just wanted to engage you guys to see if we could start that conversation, and to see if you guys might have offer any guidance or assistance around how we can make something like that happen here in Norwich. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to address the city council at this time on non-agenda items? Please, Ms. Philbin.
Joanne Philbrick, Norwich Town. First of all, could you tell us where Mr. DeLucia is tonight, please?
Information that I received, there was something going on at work where he's an instructor at Ellis Tech.
All right. I wanted to start out on a positive note. Kathy, I don't want to embarrass you, but
Go ahead.
she is the most amazing person that I have encountered in a long time in Norwich City Hall. She is kind, she is compassionate, she has a sense of humor, she does her job, she never complains that she's overworked and underpaid. I would like to see the city do an Employee of the Month and give her specifically some recognition. There are other people in the city that are probably close to what Kathy does, but she is consistently a shining star. I also would like to thank Alderman Neuendorf and Alderwoman Gould for the fact that they not only engage in conversations with their constituents, oftentimes they initiate them. I have talked to people on numerous occasions, people that are way up here in the food chain, and people down here who consistently say they send emails to the city, they call, and they never hear anything back. You have a communication problem here. And I would hope that you would put that as one of your top priorities. The next thing is, I would like you all to explain to us the debacle that we read about in the day today. If you didn't know what was going on with the Board of Education and the middle school, then shame on you. And if you did know and you chose not to say anything, shame on you. I do not want 1 penny of my tax dollars spent on that fiasco. The inmates are running the asylum. It's an embarrassment. We should be ashamed of ourselves. So if one of you could get back to me, I would appreciate it. There are so many things that the citizens of Norwich are concerned with. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. 3 minutes, once a month, it's not enough. I was feeling particularly snarky earlier in the afternoon, and I said, you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to go to the council meeting, I'm going to get up, I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm just going to stand here for 3 minutes and stare at you. Because that's primarily what the majority of you people do, is you stare at us, you don't acknowledge us, you don't listen to us. Even if you said, and there are a few exceptions, even if you said, you know what, Mrs. Philbrick, Mr. Blackburn, Mr. Bowie, other people, I hear what you say, I don't agree with you, but have you ever thought about this? But no, you just completely ignore the citizens of this city. It's not right. It's not right. Y'all have your own little special interest groups. I understand that. I have my own little special interest group, Norwich Town. We had a wonderful event there this past weekend. But we don't get any recognition. We don't get any recognition. So this is my 3 minutes here. Where tonight we get more than one bite of the apple. So please try. Let's all agree to disagree, but at least have a conversation, a dialogue. I don't think that's too much to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd also like to address the council on non-agenda items at this time. Anyone else like to address the council on non-agenda items at this time? Third request. Anyone like to address non-agenda items with the council at this time? Seeing no one else, I then declare general citizen comment closed. Thank you.
Proclamation number 1, Jewish American Heritage Month.
Alderwoman Gould, you have the floor.
Thank you. Whereas every May, we commemorate Jewish American Heritage Month to celebrate and honor the contributions of Jewish Americans in our history. And whereas, imbued with a legacy and collective memory of violent persecution across the globe, Jews have long found hope in America's promise of freedom, justice, opportunity, and religious liberty. And whereas the heritage, culture, and contributions of the Jewish community adds to the diverse tapestry of American society, and whereas the first American Jews arrived in 1654, when a group of 23 men, women, and children fled Brazil due to persecution. For 369 years, Jewish Americans have been loyal and patriotic citizens. And whereas, contributing to our nation in countless ways, American Jews have served in government, the military, won Nobel Peace Prizes, headed universities and corporations, advanced medical and health care, created and performed enduring works of art, written great American novels, became members of the Supreme Court, and more. And whereas, as we honor the legacies and achievements of generations of Jews in America, we also must dedicate ourselves to learning about ongoing struggles with anti-Semitism in our society and commit to mitigating this pernicious hate. Therefore, Mayor Peter Albert Nystrom and Norwich City Council President Pro Tem Joseph A. DeLucia and Alderwoman Stacy Gould, on behalf of the City of Norwich and the citizens of the City of Norwich, do hereby recognize May as Jewish American Heritage Month in the Rose City, dated this 15th day of May, 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, Juneteenth Commemoration 2023.
This is official proclamation from the City of Norwich. Whereas Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States, and whereas in 1865 it was on June 19th that the Union soldiers, led by Major General Gordon Granger, landed at Galveston, Texas, with news that the war had ended and that the enslaved were now free. Whereas this was 2.5 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which had become official on January 1st, 1863. And whereas Senate Bill number 305 was passed by the House and Senate of Connecticut and signed into law by the governor, declaring the 19th day of June to be Juneteenth Independence Day, a legal holiday in the state. And whereas Lieutenant Daniel Jenkins II, the first black officer in Norwich, held the first Juneteenth celebration in Connecticut in 1989 here in the Rose City, educating all to the significance of Juneteenth with a celebration. And whereas Lieutenant Dan Jenkins II, and with help from the NAACP and the city of Norwich, the following year, and they have hosted the celebration until they received help from the Global City Norwich a few years ago. And whereas the Rose City is proud of their history of celebrating Juneteenth and being the first city or town in Connecticut to do so, and welcomes the continued celebration of Juneteenth and all it stands for. Now therefore, I, Mayor Peter Albert Nystrom, and Norwich City Council President Pro Tem Joe DeLucia, on behalf of the Norwich City Council and the citizens of the city of Norwich, to hereby declare the month of June as Juneteenth in the city of Norwich. And we urge all citizens to become more aware of the significance of this celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation and city, dated this first day of June 2023. I'd also like to note that anyone who comes into the city of Norwich, and when they come to the city hall, they're greeted by the David Ruggles Freedom Court, which was a 3-year-long project, which is right out here, the front steps of City Hall. The Emancipation Bell, which was forged by the Vernon Company, which we brought here from Ohio, and over 400 students in our schools helped move the brass to that forge, which when it was forged right there on Brown Park, on a big flatbed trailer truck. So we love our history here, we celebrate it, but we also pay honor to it. If you haven't taken the time to look at that court in the recent future, I encourage you all to do so. Read some of the names of people who have bought a brick, if you will, to honor others who may have had a similar journey. I think it's important that we really pay close attention to our heritage, and perhaps even read the Emancipation Proclamation itself, for it is laser etched in that 6-foot round marble stone that's out there. It's very, very important that we pay honor to Juneteenth and that we celebrate it. And we will be doing that again in June as a city. So I invite anyone who's here or anyone watching on TV to be part of that when that is held, again, with the help of Global City Norwich. So thank you all.
Public hearing number 1, a public hearing regarding recapturing Community Development Block Grant Coronavirus Response, CDBG-CV CARES Act funds.
Thank you. At this time, I declare this public hearing to be open, and any wish to make comment on the block grant program as it has been presented by the Community Development Block Grant Commission, we invite you to speak again at the dais. Please give your name and address if you wish to address issues as the plan for refunding those dollars. Those came from previous awards in previous years where the funding was either incomplete or the project itself didn't move forward, and there's a federal process for recapturing those dollars. Did I say that close enough? Okay, thank you. But anyone wishing to speak on that proposed spending plan, the mic is yours. Anyone wish to speak in favor of this at this time? Again, anyone wish to speak in favor at this time? Seeing no one, I then declare that hearing to be closed. It's not an ordinance. It's, right? Sorry. Okay. Last call. Anyone like to speak in regards to the funding plan as presented? Seeing none, we declare that hearing closed. Thank you.
Okay. Public hearing number 2, an ordinance amending Article 2 of Chapter 20, Sections 20-19 and 20-24 of the Code of Ordinances, corrections and changes recommended by the Public Parking Commission.
Thank you. I declare that hearing to be open at this time, and anyone wishing to speak in favor of the ordinance, you're invited to do so. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the ordinance at this time? Again, anyone wishing to speak in favor of the ordinance at this time as it is proposed? Again, anyone wishing to speak in favor of the ordinance as proposed? Seeing no one wishes to speak in favor, is there opposition to the spending plan as proposed? Anyone wishing to address the council in opposition to the spending plan as proposed? Third time, anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the ordinance as proposed? Seeing no one, this time I then declare this hearing to be closed. Thank you.
Second reading and action on the above ordinance, an ordinance amending Article 2 of Chapter 20, Sections 20-19 and 20-24 of the Code of Ordinances for corrections and changes recommended by the Public Parking Commission.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to move this to the floor. Alderman Singh, second Alderwoman Gould. Is there discussion on the ordinance as proposed? Seeing none, then roll call, please.
Alderwoman Berto?
Yes.
Alderman Singh?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf?
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom?
Yes. Thank you. The ordinance is adopted as proposed on a 5-0 vote.
Okay, city managers report?
Thank you. This is the city manager's report for May 15th, 2023. Meetings attended were the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, Legislative Committee and Board of Directors, Southeastern Council of Governments Executive Committee meeting, NPU City Coordination meeting, NCDC Board of Directors meeting, Connecticut Investment Fund stakeholders, and Fire Chief Apparatus Reduction Committee. I attended a gathering of state and local officials at the Business Park North in Ockham. Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysowitz spoke on behalf of the $11,390,000 award for the Department of Economic and Community Development, Community Investment Fund 2030. It is expected that this development will bring thousands of new jobs in manufacturing, defense, and energy, and leverage $300 million in private investments to the town. I also attended the National League of Cities RISC Trustee Conference in Portland, Oregon, up until May 12th. I attended sessions on homelessness, cities and the changing legal landscape, de-escalation training and funding for public safety projects, and reimagining public sector hiring with special attention to public safety hiring. The annual conference provides resources to help trustees fulfill their fiduciary responsibilities and execute the mission of their organization, and includes networking with fellow trustees in a non-competitive collaborative environment. Norwich Public Works and Building Maintenance installed a base support in City Hall Plaza for the temporary flagpole that will be used for cultural flag raisings. Just an aside, before we had a flagpole, but it was in the street, anchored by a situation that that wasn't very conducive to having a good location. This one is a permanent location, upwards near the top of the City Hall courtyard, and I think it'll be a much better situation. 8 Norwich youths were recognized by the mayor in a ceremony on May 5th in council chambers for Youth Leadership Awards. Congratulations to Elisa Newsom, Alice Valdez, Elena Cepeda Rodriguez, Alida Anor, Lillian Daniels, Madison Langlo, Sawyer Baril, and Stephanie Herr. Norwich Youth and Family and Recreation will hold a wellness walk and bike safety event on May 20th from 10 to 12 p.m. at Fontaine Field and Rose City Senior Center. The event is free and open to all ages. Filming took place last Friday at City Hall for the World War II spy thriller Fog at War. Thank you to David Bishop, the city's volunteer painter. He is currently restoring the McKinnon Park sign in Ockham Park. Check out the city's Facebook page for his artistic talent. By the way, he restored the mural that faces the harbor that welcomes all to the harbor area. And then finally, as attached, is the fire chief's report from May 12th. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, John. Are there questions of the city manager? Yes, Alderman Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, John, for the report. And I just want to applaud the efforts of Norwich Public Works and Building Maintenance for installing that support that was well needed for flag raising ceremonies, which happen very often in the city of Norwich. And it was long time due, so that's great. Even on May 18th, we have a Haitian flag raising ceremony at 3:30 outside City Hall as well, as May was also recognized as a Haitian Heritage Month. Other thing, I wanted to just brief you that this past Saturday, myself and Mayor Nystrom attended a gathering at Greenville Playground. That was in response to the killing of 18-year-old young man, Kamari. It was very tragic, but I think that was a community response, and Norwich Area Interfaith Association took a lead on that. So it was a lot of prayers and just to show the support to the family. Also, this afternoon at 1 o'clock, Norwich Area Interfaith Association had a Zoom call with the executive director of Connecticut Against Gun Violence, just to brainstorm some of the things we as a community can do, to curb this gun violence. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Other questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Citizen comment on resolutions.
I declare citizen comment on resolutions on our agenda to be open at this time. Anyone wishing to address us on those specific resolutions, you're invited to do so. Again, please state your name and address for the public record. Thank you. The mic is open to anyone wishing to address the council on the resolutions before it this evening. Again, anyone wishing to address us on the resolutions before us? Third request, anyone wishing to address us on the resolutions before it? Okay, thank you. And seeing no one is, I will declare that closed. Thank you.
New business resolutions. Number 1, relative to approve the Recapturing Community Development Block Grant Coronavirus Response, CDBG-CB CARES Act Funds recommendations.
Thank you. Motion, please bring it to the floor. Alderman Singh, second Alderwoman Berto. Is there discussion? Thank you. Just for the edification of those here in the room and those perhaps watching, Funding is being recommended with the recaptured funds for TVCCA homelessness prevention, Norwich Human Services Senior Accessible Medical Care and Education, Thames River Community Service, Young Parent Housing Stability, St. Vincent de Paul Place Cold Food Storage, Big Brothers Big Sisters Community-Based Mentoring. And that's a total of a little over $200,000 that is being repurposed. Is there any further comment? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Berto,
Yes.
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia. I'm sorry, Mayor Nystrom.
Okay. Yes. A resolution is adopted, 5-0 is the vote.
Okay, number 2, relative to the approval of the NAGE Public Works Employees Collective Bargaining Unit Agreement and the related budget changes to fiscal years 2022-23 and 2023-24.
Thank you. A motion, please, to bring this forward. Alderman Gould, second. Alderwoman Berto, is there discussion? Any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Berto,
Yes.
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom.
Yes. A resolution adopted, 5-0.
Number 3, relative to the approval of the AFSCME Local 2422 City Hall Employees Collective Bargaining Unit Agreement and the related budget changes to fiscal years 2022-23 and 2023-24.
Thank you. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor? Alderwoman Gould, second. Alderman Singh. Is there discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Alderwoman Berto,
Yes.
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom.
Yes. Resolution adopted, 5-0. Thank you.
New business ordinance, number 1, an ordinance establishing fair rent commission.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask for a motion to bring this to the floor to waive the full tent reading at this time, to schedule a public hearing for this, which could be, the end of this doesn't need CCP, or does it? It does, okay. Second meeting in June. Okay, first meeting is the 5th,
Yes,
Right.
yes.
so it'll be the 19th. So the ask again is to bring a motion forward to raise for public hearing, waive the full tent reading of the ordinance at this time, and schedule for second read on June 19th. Is there such a motion? Alderwoman Berto, second. Alderwoman Gould. I'm sorry? You mean the 19th? It is yes, a big holiday. So that would be the 20th.
Well, we're not closed then. Not closed.
Well, oh, wait, we're not closed, though. That's never happened.
Yeah, it said it's not a holiday.
Not acknowledged in contracts or
The city, yeah.
what's the council's preference?
This particular ordinance has to be adopted
Has to be
by
adopted.
July 1st.
Yeah,
So the problem is that you would have noticed already, the city clerk would have sent a notice that June 19th would be a meeting. It's not in the contract that it's a city holiday. You're probably better off to get it done on the 19th rather than to schedule it as a special meeting, because if you amend it, you're going to have a special
redo it
meeting between the
again.
19th and the 1st of July in order to comply with the state statute.
this is a state law that is passed and is a mandate. Has to be done. There's no wiggle room in it. So we'll keep it as we posted on the 19th.
The only other thing I think you could do is if you were to move it up, you could get the commission, the city plan report by the first meeting in June, you could schedule it then, first meeting of the council.
Yeah, Deanna, please. Yeah.
So
So the commission is meeting tomorrow, and I was going to set a date with them for a special meeting anyways, because we wouldn't have time on our calendar tomorrow. They have 2 public hearings and a subdivision application. So I was going to be asking to have a special meeting anyways. So I'm sure if you set a date, we can accommodate that. I can get them together for a quorum. So if you need to move the date. from the
So
19th.
if we do it on the 5th,
Then our goal
The
is
5th
to,
is tight, but I can see what, we can do. If you want to do the 5th, we'll get a
well,
day
we
meeting.
have the 5th or the 19th or the June
Okay,
meeting.
so let's do the 5th, and I'll just we'll just get a special meeting together.
prior to.
Yep.
With a
It won't be tomorrow
recommendation.
night, but we'll
Yeah.
do another meeting,
Okay.
even if it has to be a noontime meeting or something to accommodate their schedules.
Okay, thank you. Then I would ask us to consider a friendly amendment to change my request to waive the full tent reading schedule for second hearing, and it be scheduled on June 5th. Again, Alderwoman Gould, second, Alderman Singh. Roll call, please.
Okay, Alderwoman Berto,
Yes.
Alderman Singh.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom.
Yes. Thank you. That motion is adopted 5-0.
Okay, number 2, an ordinance appropriating $6 million
No, I withdrew the initial. That's why it's
for the City of Norwich Infrastructure Improvement Program 2023 and authorizing the issue of $6 million bonds of the city to meet said appropriation and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to bring this forward, waive its full intent reading at this time, schedule for a second reading, and post a public hearing June 5th. What?
That's the one we need for referral.
Oh, okay. That's why you're doing the special meeting. So it would still work. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Alderman Singh, second, Alderwoman Berto. Just for members of the public here, normally we raise a road bond of $5 million. This is a standard bond. We do these about every 4 years or so. Talking with the Public Works Director, we are aware that the balance on those funds to do the roads, which I think we try to do 6 to 8 miles a year in the city, it is in fact getting low, to put it blunt, $1.5 million or so, something like that, anticipated to be remaining. And the reason it's 6, not 5, is inflation. Everything is up higher. It doesn't mean we'll get the same value that we got for 5. It might even be less, for all we know. But we don't want to be short. People deserve good, safe roads. First and second. Any further comment? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Berto,
Yes.
Alderman Singh.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom.
Yes. June 5th. Thank you. The motion is adopted, 5-0. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Alderwoman Gould, second. There's no executive session.
Okay.
No,
I'll second.
It's not necessary. It was put there as a hold.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I should have explained it. My apologies. Motion to adjourn, Alderwoman Gould, second. Alderman Grant Neuendorf. Roll call?
Alderwoman Berto,
Yes.
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom.
Yes. Motion to adjourn passes 5-0. Thank you.